Today in Review This Thing, we're going to film part 3 of the best 308 round, Pricey Edition. If you've been with our channel very long, you know that we filmed a part 1 and a part 2 of the best 308 edition. We've had a really good response with those. You guys have done a great job of telling us other rounds we should give a try. So as we've been able to find them, we've stocked them up until we get another 5. So here's part 3. The fun part about this round is that these are the more expensive rounds, so I'm very interested to see how these pricier rounds are going to do going through my CVA cascade. It'll also be interesting because some of these are heavier, and if you've seen the other two, you've seen that the heavier rounds don't fare as well. Now before we get started, what I'm looking for is how these things are going to group. This rifle is sighted in for a different round than any of these, so I'm not looking for it to be dead on, just how close of a group can we get at 100 yards. If you've seen our other two videos, we're using the exact same setup. I have my CVA cascade in a 308. I have my Hawk Endurance scope, and then I have the Area 419 Hellfire muzzle brake. And we have reviews of all three of those things. If you want to check those out, I'll put the links below. So this is going to be the first time these rounds have been shot through this cascade. Let's see how they go. So let's start with the heaviest round we have, which is the Hornady Precision Hunter in 178 grain ELD-X. Now I also have a Bergara Ridge in a 6.5 Creedmoor, and it really likes these Precision Hunters. So I'm interested to see how this one's going to do. Now keep in mind it is a heavier bullet, so let's see. Let's go top right. Okay. A little bit high, but again, remember this is not sighted in for this round. So that one's a little further off. If you saw part 2, you saw that our 180 grain core locked, this gun did not like those. So we'll put one more through it and see if we get about the same results. Let's go one more. Pretty big group again. This thing just does not seem to like heavier bullets. Okay, next we're going to try these Barnes VOR-TX in 168 grain TTSX BT. We've heard a lot of great things about these. Several of you mentioned them as a great round that we definitely needed to try. It's a little bit heavier again. Let's see how she does. So I didn't realize it until after I'd already shot all 3 rounds of these Barnes VOR-TX were getting ready to shoot that the battery on my camera had died. My fault for not being prepared. So we're not going to have video footage of each of those shots, but I'll put a picture up so you can see what was going on. Let's go bottom right. That one shot pretty far left. That one's also pretty far left. This round seems to shoot pretty far left out of that gun, but it's a pretty good group. Okay, next are the Hornady Outfitters, which are a 165 grain GMX bullet. If you saw part 1 of the best 308 round, we had a 165 grain Federal that did pretty decent. It just shot a little high, so I'm interested to see how this one does. So we went bottom right on the last one. Let's go bottom left on this one. And hope it doesn't get crossed up with our other ones. That one did pretty good, so let's see how the next one does. I'd say that's pretty good too. Let's see how round 3 goes. Let's see how round 3 goes. Literally a squirrel. Squirrely! Get! There's literally a squirrel, like 10 feet away. And now the squirrel is directly behind the target. All right, thank you, sir. I'd say that the Hornady Outfitters give us a pretty good group, even at 165 grains. Okay, one more round in our test is 165 grain. These are the Federal Meat Eater Trophy Copper bullets. Let's see if they shoot as well as those last ones. We're going to go top left. All right, there's one. And there's our third one. So Not bad, kind of high, a little more like a lot of the other 165 grain rounds we've seen, but not too bad. So there's our meat eater 165 grain. And before we do our last round, keep in mind, I'm just your average shooter. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't have a ton of training, which you can probably tell. I think that's a good thing because I'm able to show you what your just average shooter is going to be able to get out of these rounds. Maybe that'll give you an idea of how these bullets may do out of yours. And now for our last round of the Best 308 round pricey edition, we have the Hornady Superperformance 150 grain SST. So this is our only 150 grain round in this test. So far in part 1 and 2, we learned that this gun really likes 150 grain bullets. So let's see how this one does. We're gonna go dead center. All right, those aren't very close together. I did not expect that. Let's put a round 3 through. Let's see if any of this might be human error. So those two are pretty close. Let's shoot one more and see if that first one was me. Let's go one more. So there's a 5-shot group of these Hornady Superperformance. Okay, so I'll let the barrel cool off for a few minutes. We're going to give these Hornady Superperformance another try. I've heard such great things, so I want to make sure that it wasn't me messing something up. We're going to go bottom right. Okay, if we can get the other two, that's exactly where I was aiming. All right, one more. Little breeze. Pause. I'd say that's probably a little closer to what it's supposed to do. So that's our group with these Hornady Superperformance SST. All right, we grabbed our target. Let's just talk through it real quick. First, we started here with the 178 grain Precision Hunters. And I mentioned so far my Cascade does not seem to like heavier bullets. And you can see that 4-shot group is pretty big. Then we moved down to the bottom right to shoot the Barnes 168 grain. That's not that group, it's this group right here. This round seems to shoot pretty far left out of that gun, but it's a pretty good group. Came down here and shot the Hornady Outfitters, and you can see that's a very good group out of that Hornady Outfitters. And then we moved here and used the Federal Meat Eaters. Shot a little bit high, but pretty good group. Not too bad. Then I shot those Hornady SSTs. We did this group, and it was kind of all over the place. Gave the gun a few minutes to cool off, and we did get a much better group out of those. I think the biggest lesson from all 3 of the videos, try a few different rounds, find your round, and then go out there and practice with it. The more confident you are with your gun and the round that you've selected, then the more relaxed you're going to be, and the more confident you're going to be when it's time to take a shot on an animal. Hey, thanks for watching part 3 of our Best 308 round. While you're here, go ahead and watch part 1 and part 2, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we do. If you really like it, consider subscribing to our channel. Also do us a favor, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and now on TikTok.